Dolly's legacy is larger than life, just like she was, and it goes well beyond music. To talk more about the incredible impact she made, we are joined by ABC News contributor Chris Connelly. And Chris, thank you for joining us. Dolly spent years building an empire. How was she able to build a brand that felt so authentic to fans?
I think because, Lindsay, I think people all felt like she touched them personally. Like she did reach out to hundreds of millions with her music and her movies and her television appearances, but it was as if she laid a hand on you personally, that you heard her lyrics, you heard her voice, you heard her entertaining you in a way that few other artists ever have been able to connect with an audience that way. She was one of one. I think any two Americans could have had a conversation about how great Dolly Parton is, and about who can you possibly say that. She touched people in a unique way. She was, to so many people, a kind of guardian angel, and maybe she'll always be.
Yeah, Dolly was known for more than her celebrity. She was an active philanthropist. The Imagination Library could be considered her most lasting legacy. Talk to us about that.
Absolutely true, and that was because she grew up in a household where her parents could not read, and so she understood how important literacy was. And her move to give so many books to so many young people transformed their lives and transformed the way we all look at this kind of thing. She was active in trying to make sure that people got taken care of in the way that they deserve to be. And at every level of her philanthropy, she reached out and did exactly that.
Back during the height of COVID, Dolly donated $1 million to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, helping support research connected to Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. She later publicly received the vaccine and encouraged Americans to get vaccinated themselves. What does that say about the trust people placed in her voice, both as a celebrity and a public figure?
Well, you're right. It's just extraordinary on every sort of level. I mean, she touched people as the biggest movie star imaginable, as a person who could be in these huge movies and be so glamorous and make us laugh and entertain. But just like, you know, the rock and roll idea, she was all about three chords and the truth. And you put her in a room with a guitar and her pad, and that's where she felt like she was at her absolute best. Telling songs that drew on her past, that addressed people's lives as they live now. They touched them so deeply, and that's why they mourn her tonight.
And while Dolly grew to become a global superstar, she never lost touch with her East Tennessee roots. Would you say that her family was the thread that connected all of these endeavors?
I think so. I think the deprivation she grew up with, but also the love and the music that strengthened her so much and allowed her to succeed in the world outside. That was what was so key. Sure, she left that life and went on to great stardom, but the ethics that she grew up with, the integrity that she always had as an artist, the authenticity that people responded to on every level, that's what Dolly Parton was all about.
Her husband of nearly 60 years, Carl Dean, passed away last year, and Dolly shared so much of herself with the public, but her marriage was something she largely kept private. What does that say about the bond they shared?
I think it must have been very deep indeed. Love runs through so many of her songs. Devotion, obviously, she told that wonderful story about Jolene and how she came to write it and stuff, but it was love and how deep it was that ran through so much of her work and what people responded to in her. And her marriage, I'm sure, was a huge part of that.
Chris Connelly, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.